You're listening to MTactiq, the voice of marketers.
Pressure to have this podcast and not have a room because
I think data teaches you to be conscious, but the gut tells you how to connect with people. I think that's what sets you apart, to see.
You're listening to MTactics, the voice of marketers from School of Business and Management, where marketing isn't just studied, but it's decoded. This mic is for real conversation behind the strategies and people behind the brands and who are thinking about what's behind the trend. I'm your host, Alina James, and if you're building a career in business, this is the right place to be. Some guest comes with experience, some with insights, and today I think we have both. So today's guest is someone who can decode AI, lead with empathy, and I think make AI a little scarier and a lot more human. We are absolutely thrilled to have Dr. Smrite Goudhaman, pre-sales solution leader, data at Datamatics, and also a faculty at Golden Gate University. So she, I think, is a powerhouse professional and also an incredible communicator. And I think she's someone who proves leadership and style both goes hand in hand. Ma'am, I'm so grateful to have you here. Welcome to this podcast.
thank you very much. It's very generous of kind of you to have shared so many kind words. And I wish the same for all the students watching that today, so they go on to live all their dreams.
Thank you. So I think looking back at your journey, right, it has always been from academic to the, enterprise world, the real world. So what were some of the defining moments that you thought, okay, this is where my path leads to? Not like big milestones as such, but something very subtle decisions that you made that clearly defined your path.
I think something that I would want to share with all of you is it's all those times that I failed, those decisions that you thought were going to come through and they don't come through, and people don't talk about that. But I think they're the most important ones. If you decide that you're going to walk from point A to point B and walk through, it doesn't make a story. But every time I think you fall, you fail, it's the ones who code you, those teachers, those friends, the support system, everything that comes through. I think that changes your journey. That starts defining who you are.
Got it. I think it's all about personal connections and relations. Yes, absolutely. Thank you, man. So I think being an MBA student, we are well defined of what a marketing role looks like.
Yeah.
What sales role looks like. We have clear good idea. We have all the ideas in the world as to look how that job should look like. But what is pre-sales? When I listen pre-sales, I know it's, pivotal role, but yeah, but I don't understand exactly what you do. So what does your day-to-day,
Life look like?
Yeah,
It's about connecting the dots. Okay. It's something that I really, really believe in for everyone. Like how you mentioned, there are clear-cut roles, and then there's some roles that connect people. And I think that's something that I do. So I connect a solution with what the sales team expects. Okay. So the sales team is a team that interacts with the client and knows exactly what the client needs. But then it is our role to connect a solution to what the client needs and what the client doesn't need, which is even more important. Because most of the time you don't know what you need, which comes through in a solution. So that's what I do.
Okay. So I think I was right being very pivotal. Your role is very pivotal, actually. It's easy to talk with clients, but then to bridge that gap between the solution and their real pain points, I think that's where the change is.
Yes, you need to give them a solution that works, that's scalable.
Got it. So, it's all traditional. The roles are traditional, right? So what is something new that you're doing in pre-sales? Just the job, not just you to do something different. So, what is that you think that you do?
I think the most important thing that we all forget is like how you started the conversation by saying we understand a defined role. A defined role would be sales or marketing. I think there are times when we don't know we need it, but we really need it. So when we get it, we realize, oh my God, this is what we needed. So sometimes people are thinking it's a sales number that we need. I'd like to give an example here of the Lego brand. So they were going through bankruptcy. Did they ever know that they were going to turn around their company just by making sure that they had something for everyone to engage with? So I think what's important is to understand the pulse when you don't pick it up. So you might feel that you need to crack through an exam, but it's not the score, it's how you give your best in that moment. So I think everyone needs to know that the most important defining factor here is how to get the pulse. You didn't know that you needed an iPhone before it was launched. You didn't know that you needed to watch Netflix on a small screen, and you were going to give up watching it in a theater before it was gotten to you. So creating solutions that people don't know they need.
Gosh, I understood. I think it's, traditionally we used to have clear-cut answers and solutions, but now it's more about digging deep down and finding out, what really reaches there first before the consumer could actually look into.
Absolutely. No one ever thought that you would require toothpaste in 10 minutes and that you would want a Blinkit.
Yeah.
And Blinkit came, and I think it just changed the way you all shop. But for us, maybe 3 decades back, now we went once a month and we could still get on the groceries and never have run out of something.
Got it. I think it's time to switch gears and to move on to something like really light. Oh, so quick rapid fire, just 2 questions. So what's that one habit that keeps you grounded in, high intensity, say, work atmosphere?
I think kindness. Never forget where you come from. Also, never forget that people have their own stories than they bring.
Yeah.
So be kind to
That's beautiful.
to the situation.
Got it. What recharges you fast? Is it solitude or, say, stimulating conversations with people?
I think children. Okay, definitely students, children learning, curiosity.
Yes. It's all about conversations for you, I guess. From the beginning, I've been, getting that thing of you're all about conversation as people. And I think that's why you're doing such a great job in, the places that you are, be it in academics or enterprise or wherever you are. You just make a statement because I think you really value human feelings and human conversations. Okay. A leadership trait that you build the hard way and not the natural way.
I think it took me a very long time to understand that everyone doesn't come with the same skill set. And once we understand that, we can take people along. It's not about where you reach in life. It's about where we all reach. And I think that's something I learned the hard way because we are always taught, what is your goal? Since childhood, what's your goal? Who do you want to become? Where are you going? Very rarely do we have conversations about where are we going? Where is this going to take us? I think
That's actually a beautiful thought, carrying the people with you,
yes,
and expecting them also to grow while you're just making your ass. That's great. So what is the hardest question that a client has asked you regarding AI? You feel like, okay, that's a difficult question to crack. So what was that one particular question?
I think that client wanted to know if everything could be done by a tool and we didn't need human clicks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it scary for you to, just
Actually, no, that's for everyone. There's this misconception about AI being able to do everything. The reality is it's human in the loop. So we've created something and it's up to us how we use it and how we deliver. Will it take over us? Will it change the way we work? Yes. But will it substitute us? No.
Okay. So what was your answer to that particular client? And were they happy with that answer or were they quite surprised with it?
I think I'll give you the situation.
Yeah, sure. Please.
So the situation was, we work a lot in healthcare. And the situation is that, if you actually use tech, you are going to get very precise answers. So, for example, if you have a robot doing the operation, there are 100% chances that it's going to do well and it's going to be precise and you could take it. But whenever we have somebody who wants to know, can just the machine do it? People will always say they want a human in the role. They always want that doctor. They always want that software element. And I think that's a very valid example to see whether it's paperwork, also if it's your bank paperwork. Though you can do everything on net banking, you still need that human to put that stamp, correct? It makes you feel nice that there is a human behind somewhere. Even Blinkit, it gives it to you in 10 minutes. But you need that human to come and say, I got trust clay, yes. So I will place it at its cap. That's beautiful.
Yeah, so earlier, a brand used to, make me feel like, they are trying to convince me. Okay. But now I think the brands have to convince the AI first, the algorithm first, and then convince a customer. Right. So do you think that the world has gone from, say, a B to C to B to AI to customer? So what is your take on that?
I think I truly believe that in this world of very high engagement, we are driven by data. So we're not looking at B to AI or B to C. We're looking at where the data is clicking. Okay. And the moment we start looking at that, we start applying tech to it to scale. So I think tech is being used at this moment to scale very, very quickly. And it has a lot of advantages too.
So with that being said, there's always a line that we need to draw in, say, for example, AI ethics or governance or, there's a lot of responsibility that the leaders have by working with all these tech and etc. So what are some of your viewpoints as to how a company should be, responsible enough to take this journey with ethics and with the human aspect of it?
This is a very interesting question. And ethics or governance doesn't come after the process. It starts at the beginning. The ethics start at the beginning of the process. So, for example, if it's a sales process and you have your ethics and the governance in place at the beginning, you know that each milestone will be met with that integrity it's supposed to be. I think what did go wrong, and we all figured in the pilot phases, we were so excited about scale. Now, when we did the pilot, we didn't realize at which checkpoints we need governance. We all thought at some point that governance would come at the end. That we could scale the process and the human will check at the end of the process. But the automation is working in milliseconds and humans work at a far lower speed. So that's when we realized that you need humans at different layers in the system, not at the beginning or the end. They had to be their knocks at different layers.
That's great to know, your perspective on that.
No, we are getting harsh sunlight.
A few inches later.
So I think I would love to touch upon something that I think you are deeply interested in, that's fashion and lifestyle. So I think though you have been here in this journey, you have been closely associated with your fashion brands. Say, for example, you started your journey with Mango and you have been judging few competitions like that. So I want to know what your consumer mind works like. So when you see your brand, what are the things that, actually click inside your mind? Say, okay, maybe the brand can do a little differently. So what is your customer perspectives on, say, fashion and lifestyle specifically?
I think the most important thing to me, and also it comes from how long I've done window dressing, is that it needs to be usable. If someone can use it, if someone can work around it, that's when it gets scared. And I think it's so important because no matter who we are so driven by goals, by numbers. So, and it's also usability, right? Every brand wants to cater to an audience. And if it can be that solution to that need that you have, I think that's most important. That's the hook.
Got it. So, what according to you, are the fashion trends that AI can change, or say it can, be like a best friend when fashion is booked before you? So, what are those AI solutions that can come into picture?
I think it tell you how much you already have, okay, and how much you may. I think it's so important. It's this world is running towards consumerism, and there's so much of you might miss it. It's a FOMO that I see with the younger generation that I need this and I need this. I think what AI will help you all balance is how much you already have and what can you do with what you already have.
Correct. So I think it's I think we've been in that space as to now AI is taking over, but yeah, there are certain things that we need to take care as well. So everything put together, it's just how perfectly a brand can be curated. So I would like to shift gears again. I think when I was checking your LinkedIn profile, the cover photo said I'm still learning. So I want to actually know, what is that? How much dedicated are you to learning, or what are some tips that you can give the MBA students? Because I think we all feel like, we are exhausted learning. I think it's time to stop learning. So what are your takes on that?
I think I would tell everyone that please learn as long as you can. I think it's so important that you learn every single day, not through a course, not for a degree, but for the person you are. I think that defines who you are, who you will become. There is so much to learn, and most importantly, there's so much to unlearn. That's something, that's the book that we haven't learned to unlearn. Because had we not unlearned the previous ways, how would tech take us ahead? Tech has taught us to unlearn so many previous ways of style and work. And yes, I think keep learning, unlearn and relearn. That's how you stay relevant. I think that's what I will share with everyone. I started my career as I did my MBA, and there was this myth that you could only be in business. But strangely, after I did my MBA, I came into fashion. And who knew that fashion would take me to numbers, like you mentioned? Yeah. But 10 years ago, I started realizing that every time someone crossed a window, sometimes you stopped and sometimes you didn't. But we put the same effort. Every week, the same effort was put into how you dressed the store. Then why would someone talk to you on a particular day, or you do well in sales on a particular day and not on the others? So there was data. That means every emotion also has data, trends, patterns. And if you understand that, life is such a long journey, from I think from fashion to tech, and then going on to do my doctorate. Yeah, I think I did my PhD only so that I could come back and teach. Yes, and that's something I want to do for the rest of my life. That's nice. I think since you told about your doctorate, I want to ask more about, what was your learnings, or, how did you go about doing the research the right way? So let me put it this way. One, I wanted to see how can we train people to skill. Okay. At that time, 5 years ago, we were not talking so much about AI, but we were looking at execution. We had the technology, but we wanted to see how can this technology reach more people. So my doctorate was all about taking an AI tool and helping people perform better. And that performance could help them earn better and stay in jobs that they liked. And that's what we did. And I think the biggest learning for us was not that you are expecting, you think that you're going to improve performance, but then you realize you increase engagement, people are happier, and they end up staying longer. Okay. Thank you, Mom. Thank you for sharing that insight. So quickly to ask, what is your philosophy of leadership? Because I think being MBA student, at the end of the day, we all want to become good leaders that brings out good changes in this world we live in. So what is your philosophy of leadership? If you take people, take your clients with you, take your team with you, most importantly, and take your value system. That's very important. Very rarely is it spoken about, taking everyone with you. And it's so important to take along a team. If you want to be a leader, be a leader who can look after people, who can work with people. I think that's a lot of work as well, but the results to it are beautiful. So I think we should be carrying people. So what is this philosophy? So how did you reach here? What was that, maybe say a fear or something that you look back to right now? Maybe you can narrate that particular situation that you had in your life that made you. That's all the tough moments. When someone picks you up, you realize, oh my God, I didn't know I could do well. When that teacher came and told you, oh, you will do well, doesn't matter. We work at it. And then you realize one compliment from a teacher can change you to believe in a subject that you didn't know you could do. As one hand of a co-worker who said, oh, you're having a tough day, let me do this for you. Or I know how to do it, let me tell you how to do it. That works. Okay. That's great. So we'll move on to a little bit of rapid fire now. Sure. Are you ready, ma'am? Always. Okay. So tell me, ma'am, one skill MBA students should build that AI can't do it. That's resilience. Okay. Resilience.
Tell me AI in one word. Is it opportunity or responsibility?
Responsibility. Okay. And why? In one line, maybe? In a line?
Yeah, in a line.
I think it's going to define what we do with it. Oh, it's powerful.
Got it. What will matter more in the next 5 years? Data literacy or decision judgment?
Always decisions.
Okay. One thing professionals should stop doing because AI is already doing. One thing that we all should stop.
I think routine work.
Yeah, good. One skill that MBA students should build that AI can't replicate. Okay. So there was a controversy by one of the important prominent individual that said that anyone who is doing an MBA when you're 25 is adult. So what is your comment on that?
I think we need everyone. We need everyone on the table. Judging by age or by its statement speaks of the best.
Okay, so you don't, I think restricting us to a particular timeline and telling that you have to be doing this, I don't think that's relevant. So,
and it's not relevant anymore in any space.
Okay. So for people who are feeling that way, what is that, say, 3 tips for them or 3 boosters for them that actually makes them from in the game?
I think the 3 things that I can share that worked for me is, 1, have faith in who you are. Know what you bring to the table. And it's when you reach the table that you realize that all of us are the same. Whether we have experience or we don't, at some point we didn't have that experience. I was new at the table and there would have been someone else with an experience. So get to the table, have faith in who you are, and most importantly, believe. Work hard and so sincerely that you believe in what you're bringing to the table. Get that quality to come in. Get that ethic that you're talking about, that value system to come to the table. Once you get that, I think you will be at the places you're meant to be.
Got it. I think we all are running behind certification courses, say a few courses of these many hours. I think what we have to perfectly, design for ourselves is a value system that we are in, and to just go back in the things that actually hold value, like you said, right?
It will connect.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's very possible that you need all those 10 certificates. And I wouldn't say don't do that. I'd say please go out and do all those 10 because they might be needed or they might even add value. But what I intend to say is make sure that each certificate is worthy and valuable for the effort you've put in. Yeah. Collect as many. There's no stopping. There's so much in the world. So please go ahead and do it. But make sure that you enjoy it through that journey. Thank you.
What interests you more, intelligence or is it the clarity of communication?
I think thoughtfulness.
Okay. Yeah. So early mornings or late night thinking?
Very early morning.
Very early. Is that the secret to your success?
Absolutely. I'm a 4 a.m. club.
But okay, that's nice. But what is the difference? When you sit at night and when you wake up in the morning, what is the major difference that you feel?
I think it's the piece that helps you plan. Okay, I'm I'm an extremely planned person. I go by the clock, and I believe that when you're planned, you accommodate so much more, so many more opportunities that come your way. Understood. A place that instantly calm you down. Home, my children.
That's sweet. Something that, always makes you smile no matter how busy your life is.
I know that me and my husband are building a family with intent. And whoever we cross paths with, we do that with intent. We make sure that everyone see. There are times that you meet people and you cross paths by and you don't know who they are. But if you make a person feel felt and valued when you meet them, I think that's important. That defines, I think, the home and the life you're building.
Correct. I think that's one major thing that now we hear, work-life balance, yeah. So I think, is it really possible to have a work-life balance?
Not at all. Whoever's telling you that, it's not possible.
Oh, I don't think so. How do you define that? So where do you draw the line?
There is no drawing the line. Do everything you're capable of. I truly believe pressure is a privilege.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, the fact that you all can do so much holds no reason to complain. Take as much as you can, learn as much as you can, and with power comes responsibility. If you understand that, you will really go places.
So, I think we are done with officially all the questions, but before that, we have a last segment, which is basically the future drop. So, I wanted to ask, if you wrote one headline as such, okay, in the near future, say in 10 years, a marketing headline, what would that be?
It's your story.
Perfect. I think that's that's a beautiful phrase out there. So I think you guys should get it. Can you say that once again? It is very powerful.
It's your story.
Thank you so much. With that, we end this podcast. It was lovely having your insights, your stories on this podcast. I think we all learned at least one or two from it. And I would like to say that AI is there. Yeah, with it, we can go, for a very long time. But then it's the humans, the connections, the conversations that make it really meaningful.
Yes, they do.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was great meeting you. Thank you.